Hello everybody, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you those tips and tricks that I didn't show you in the last video. So just to recap on what we did, we went to Start, Settings, and then we went to Apps, and then we went to Default Apps. The first thing we did was we changed your browser default. And then the second thing we did is we opened up the run box and we went to services.msc. And we scroll down to the bottom and look for a service called Windows Search. And when we did that, we changed it to manual instead of automatic, and that reduces the processing power to index your files for searching. So more detail than that in the previous video. So today I'm going to show you those tweaks that when we right-clicked on this PC, went to Properties, and it went to this different window. So I found those settings I was looking for. It was actually at the bottom. I just didn't look hard enough last time. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Bitlocker Settings. I personally like to leave Bitlocker off if it is off. Sometimes it's off by default and sometimes it's on by default. It depends whether or not your computer has a TPM chip in it. If it does, I like to turn it off, because if something happens with the operating system and it crashes and it doesn't boot, which does happen, I can at least pull the hard drive out of the computer and get the data without going through a rigmarole of trying to get a BitLocker key. And if I don't have that key, I can't get the data out. So I just turn it off. If you're persistent with your backups, you can leave it on if you prefer to leave it on. And if you don't have any data important at all, doesn't matter what you do with it. But if you have important data, I recommend turning it off, unless you're persistent with your backups. Alright, so that's enough about the BitLocker. So now we're going to go to Advanced System Settings. We're going to go to Performance. And what I did is I only enabled the ones that I seem are the most useful. So the drop shadow icons on the desktop, that leaves this black outline around the lettering of each desktop icon. Makes it easier to see with regardless of what background you put up. Smooth edge to screen fonts. With it on or off in this screen, you won't notice any difference, but if you go to any website, sometimes the text will be distorted and kind of hard to read, so that's the only reason I left that on. Why they give you an option to distort the text or not is beyond me, but anyway, just leave it on. The other one is to show thumbnails instead of icons, and what that is if you have pictures on the computer, instead of showing your standard picture icon, it shows an icon of the actual image, which is nice because you can see what the image is before you open it. And then enable peek. And what that is when you put your mouse cursor over top of the icon on the taskbar here, it shows you which window. It gives you a preview of the window before you click on it. In case that comes in handy if you have a whole bunch of things going at one time. Alright, so that's all set. And here's the default settings. I'm going to hit Let Windows Choose for me. And these are all the default settings. So if you're playing around with this and you don't like how it looks, just Let Windows choose what's best for my computer. And then you click Apply and it resets everything back to the way it was. So this is not damaging to the computer in any way by modifying these settings. So I'm going to bring it back to custom. Actually, let me do this so it's easier. Okay, that one. Smooth screen. Smooth jet of screen fonts. Show thumbnail instead of icon, and enable peek. Okay, so that's where we're at. Alright, so we keep those settings. So now we're going to go to Startup and Recovery. By default, this is 30 seconds. I changed it to 3. And that's on your, when you boot up Windows. If it gives you an option to do something else other than boot into your operating system, like go into safe mode or whatever, it'll only wait 3 seconds before automatically going into Windows. So that's nice if you walk away real quick and you want to get something to drink while your computer's booting up. It only waits 3 seconds. But if you're looking to do something other than booting to Windows, most likely you're going to stay at your computer anyway and just wait to choose the option as it boots. So, but you can put in whatever you want. You know, I wouldn't put anything too low because otherwise you may have to do something and get an error at some point in time. 3 seconds I think is reasonable. Okay, and then the other thing you may want to do is go to computer name and then just change your you can change your name to whatever you want it to be. This is the default for this installation of Windows. And how you would change it is you go to change, you can type in whatever you want it to be, and then you hit OK, and then it'll ask you to restart the computer. So once the computer restarts, that's when the name will change. And that's if you do anything with networking on it. So when you open up network here, it'll show you a list of all the computers on the network. You can identify them. But if you don't network, don't even bother with that setting. Okay, so hopefully you found this useful, and if you did and it helped you improve the performance of your computer, if you can, please leave me a tip or send me a donation through the either through cryptocurrencies, or eventually I'll have a Patreon account up, so you can donate that way as well. And I hope you liked the video. You enjoy the rest of your day.